everybody's in the Illuminati. You heard me right. Every human being is a part of the Illuminati. Now, am I talking about the Bavarian Illuminati from 1776 that Lord Rothschild commissioned Adam Weishaupt to set up to create a one world order with a one world religion and a one world family with a one world court? Or am I talking about the bearing of light, the illumination of light, the illumination of the soul? Kind of both. So yes, there was an Illuminati, and there was people using that secret society to set up those things. A one world system. Now that one world system is to control the soul. So let's just break it down really simply. People think they're better than other people. It's called pride. It's called ego. It's called self-righteousness. You have a soul. I have a soul. And then we beam that soul. That soul is energy. I'm a point of contact of that energy. You're a point of contact of that energy. And I want the energy to come back to me. You want the energy to come back to you. So how do we do that? How do we reflect our light so it comes back to us? On top of that, if there isn't a creator, then we're the creator of that energy. If there is a creator, then we're supposed to beam the energy to the creator because he beamed it to us, and then we beam it back to him. So God's like a multifaceted shape, and then we are a reflection of that multifaceted shape, and then he wants us to beam our energy to him so he can take part in our life. Does God need us to exist in order for us to know he exists? I don't think so, but he sure wants us to. And then he wants us to give him glory, to give him fame, to give him power. And then he creates an earth. Or the earth was created out of itself. And the evolutionist says the earth was created out of itself, and it was created out of a single cell. And then it seems like they're creating a game to become that single cell, to become that all-seeing eye, to become that power source. So the light bearer then bears the light, but then they always seem to want to beam it back to them. Or they seem to create a system so it comes from them, goes to you, and then comes back to them. They triangulate it. They love triangles. They want to be at the top of the triangle, and then they push people down at the triangle to beam it back to us, and then they have to give it back to you in order for it to reciprocate. But then they are obsessed with doing a death system so it creates life. So out of the death comes life. Now, it is true that you use recycling for life, but the Illuminati system is possessed with trying to have the light bearers steal the light and then use non-light, bad energy to create good things. So they want to end the family to have a nation. So then the nation then controls your light source. And then under the nation, you trade wealth, you trade worth. Money is worth. That's a piece of the creation. That's an idol. The home for that worth is earth. They stole the earth by giving you a picture. That's an engraved image. That's a spiritual construct in your mind that comes from them. 8 inches per mile square proves that those pictures are fake. You measure water, and every mile you don't get 8 inches more of curvature. You get flat water, you get sea level, you get horizon. It proves that those pictures are fake. The earth is a plane. Out of that water, out of that plane comes land. And then there's a three-dimensional shape. And then we are in that three-dimensional shape with heavens above giving us a fourth-dimensional vanishing point so we can archive our time and so we can attribute value so we can have memories. And then in those memories, we're supposed to not just make it all about us, but the illuminated ones are trying to steal that light. They're trying to bear the light by beaming it back to them. They're really just inverting everything and doing everything backwards. So they're saying it's a ball when it's a plane first. Then they're saying it's a circle, so you can't see all sides of the circle at the same time, so you have to do it through them. And then they're calling on the power of the creation, Lucifer the light, the first light you see in the morning is the star Venus. Venus was known as El. They also called it Lucifer. And they're calling on that power to steal the light, to steal your worth. And then people are joining that system because they want to feel better than other people. And this is really what it comes down to. It comes down to wanting to be better than other people. And you might not know you do that. There's people in this world that are from all walks of life, religious walks or non-religious walks, and they're all on the same team because they want to play a game to prove that they're better than other people. And if they're playing that game, they can't see the game. They can't see the constructs of life. They want to argue about who's the best in the world when the game isn't set up to have a best in the world. ESPN loves to talk about who's the best in the world in team sports. Well, it's a team sport and it's not meant to give you the best player, but they always want to argue about it because they want to take the objects, they want to take the created order and manage it in a way that it wasn't meant to be to become the creator. And they don't want to recognize a creation. It is impossible in this world to change certain things because they're objects, because they're created. And people can't seem to handle that because they've joined a spirit. They took their spirit and they connected to a spirit that wasn't the original seed. It wasn't the original light. It wasn't the original creation. And they can't see it. Conspiracy theorists get this. They get this because they changed their spirit. We were a part of a spirit that was blinding us, and then we were like, someone must have been involved on September 11th, 2001, because 3 buildings fell, and one of those buildings wasn't hit by a plane, and it sure looked like it felt like a controlled demolition, and when it wasn't even hit by jet fuel. And they said it was jet fuel. And we were like, no, it must have been bombs. And police officers and firemen were saying it was bombs. And the guy who owned the complex, Sheldon Silverstein, said, we're going to pull it, we're going to pull it, we're going to pull it. And we were like, something's going on. Then we realized they were in a secret society. Then we heard that they said, hail Lucifer the light. We call on the light bearer, and they're Luciferians. And they're Satanists, and they call on the power of Satan. They say competition is a sin. I can't compete against you because you're God, because you want a one-world system. And then they wrote letters to each other saying, set up a one-world system, set up a one-world government, set up a Illuminati. And then you got the musicians and the artists taking the triangle and putting it over their eye. What's the eye? That's the pituitary gland. That's the soul. And they want to steal our soul so they can become the soul. They can become the cell. They can become the singularity. They can become the God. And we're going, hold on a second. That's just not true. The reason we can see it is because we've taken our spirit and we've joined objectivity. Now, if that objectivity leads to a God, it leads to a creator, then so be it. And the reason we're willing to do that is because we don't care if we're not as good as other people. We're not playing a game to be as good as other people. That's what we all have in common. All conspiracy theorists have in common is that we're not too proudful. We're not too egotistical. We're not too self-righteous. There's Christians that are in the Illuminati. Now they're doing it through Zionism. And they're saying there's one family that rules the world, Judaism, or the Islamists are doing it too, and they're doing it through the law. There's Christians that are doing it through the law. They're doing it through moralism. The non-Christians are doing it through paganism, through no laws, no laws, no laws. And then somehow they're going to say, hey, bow down to my rules. Like they throw their trash on the ground and say, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. The earth is dying. It's because they're killing it. And they're saying you can't burn carbon because carbon makes people money and we don't want you to have money because we want to be your God. And they're trying to steal the earth because they're using a bridge because you got to use a bridge to beam the light. And you need a home for that. You need a box for that. So they killed the box of the earth. They killed the energy transmissions of the earth to then make fake ones, to then do life together through their system for a one-world government and a one-world court and a one-world religion and a one-world burger restaurant and a one-world whatever else in a one-world earth. And people will join it if they want to have energy that comes from themselves. They know that in order to fulfill their soul, they have to play a game. And they don't even know they're doing it, but their subconscious knows they're doing it. And you argue till you're blue in the face with them, and then it just comes down to the fact that they're in the Illuminati. You're all in the Illuminati. If you don't think the earth is flat, you're in the Illuminati. You're the fake bearers of light. You're stealing the light. You're stealing the creation to become God. And you're not my God. And I don't want to worship you. You're not my Illuminati.